Inja ua ua wuki. All clear. Woo! Oh yeah. Fresh air, boys. We're back. We're back.
Yeah. This is weird.
I know. Back in front of the camera during this. Well, it is over. At least the stay-at-home order is over. Hopefully, all of you are safe and have been safe over these past few months in our absence. It has been a while.
Back in black.
Back in black. We updated the studio a little bit. Got some better lighting. Got some better features.
Same
going
lighting,
on.
better backdrop, and just a new demeanor about life. And you know that virus really put us in check and said, "Hey, no, seriously. In all seriousness, it's scary." And I don't know. We won't get into political standpoints here, but we will just say that just stay safe, and hopefully this episode will make you feel.
Feel the feel?
Just feel. All right. Did you hear the movie news about AMC, bro?
That it's going bankrupt?
Not only that, but guess who's going to buy, potentially? It's been a while since I've talked to another human being. Potentially.
Potentially. Dude, how can you not say it?
Potentially.
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 Yeah.
AMC might get bought out by Amazon.
That would be good and bad, I think.
Well, a couple years ago, they tried to do this, and AMC refused. But now, they're not in a good position to really leverage themselves out of this, so they might be forced into a buyout.
Didn't AMC stop showing Universal movies?
Yes, they did, which is also...
Well, they're not showing any movies right now, but that's a huge hit if they actually stick with not showing Universal films, because they make and push out a lot of movies every single year.
Well, and they haven't even talked about when theaters are opening. You know how things are reopening. They haven't talked about the release date for theaters to open.
That the theaters are going to open when everything else does.
Well, isn't everything else open where we live?
No.
What? I thought the opening was on the 11th.
Which was today. I don't know. I haven't been outside. I've been stuck inside for 3 months.
Get me out of here! With that said, let's get into what we've watched, and I want to start with a TV show.
Okay, go.
So I'll do mine, and then you can do yours.
Okay.
I watched.
Let me guess, Dave.
I watched the show Dave, and I have to say I'm pretty impressed.
Sometimes I feel like people only see me as this larger-than-life icon, but I'm just a normal guy. Hi. Hello. I'm Dave. You might know me as Lil Dicky, but there's a lot more to me. Don't you want to know who I am? Not really. Do you want to meet the guy behind the guy?
It starts out comical, and then it builds, and then you get into some serious moments. And there's one episode in particular, and I won't really try to spoil it, but it's about narcissism in relationships, and it's really a wake-up call to people. And it kind of made me think, hey, maybe I need to be better in this relationship. And it was a great episode where something can start out one way and end in a completely different meaning, and I loved it. Speaking of being in marriages and not being narcissistic, let's give a congratulations to this guy over here, man. And now they always say congratulations. Well, he got
engaged while in quarantine, so you know it's gonna last because we haven't killed each other yet.
What did you watch?
I've been watching a lot of movies. I'm just gonna do a quick thing because you kind of did a Jojo Rabbit review, but Jojo Rabbit was great. Loved it. Watch it. Saw Call of the Wild with Harrison Ford. Actually, surprisingly good. I thought it was going to be way over the top cheesy, but it kind of hit you hard. Good movie, an adventure story. Obviously, it's the book based on.
It's a movie based on a book.
The book Call of the Wild. Anyways, Then I also watched Underwater. You did a review on that, but you didn't post it. It was better than expected. It's a good monster movie. I liked it. Yeah, it was a little short. I agree. It could have been a little bit longer. But as far as I didn't even know what to expect from it. Did good. It did good. I suggest watching that one. Next up, I saw The Gentleman, starring Matthew McConaughey. It also had Hugh Grant in it, and as well as, I can't remember that actor's name, but he also played Arthur in King Arthur. It's a Guy Ritchie movie, basically about a drug lord. It's a good movie, good storytelling. It's very similar to Knives Out. I felt like the pacing in the movie was very similar to Knives Out. I suggest watching The Gentleman. And lastly, I rewatched Paul.
The Alien movie?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one.
It's a very underrated movie for those guys, for Simon Pegg. Is that his name?
Yes. Simon Pegg and
Nick
Frost.
Nick Frost, yeah. Very underrated.
Who actually,
for those two.
if you look at Jojo Rabbit, they pretty much look like little clones of them. Like they could play a baby Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Yeah, for sure.
Just piggybacking off that for no reason, you said Seth Rogen. A good quarantine movie, I think, that I watched is This Is the End, just because they're kind of trapped in the house and it's really funny.
Good story, and it's kind of like the end of the world.
And it's hilarious.
Contagion is ranking up there on Netflix right now. It actually has some good insight on what you should do.
It's crazy how accurate like everything in that movie is thus far. Like, if you watch that movie, did you watch it recently?
Well, yeah, no, I haven't, but I've seen it.
Well, don't say yeah. Like it could have went. It could have went. It could have went.
Jersey, yeah.
It could have went so many different directions, but it literally like lined up. Like even the bat was involved with how the virus started. That's crazy,
bro.
It's crazy.
There was a guy on Joe Rogan who predicted something like this. He wrote a book about it in like 2012.
Okay, but when you throw out 1,000 theories, of course you're bound to be right one of those times.
That's basically what the book is based around. But we won't get too into that. Contagion, not a bad movie to watch during these times. Might scare you, but it also has some fun facts that'll help you survive in this pandemic. I bet I look so bald with this black background. Something interesting that has come up during all of this quarantining and during this pandemic is since the movie theaters closed, specific movies have come out to release on Amazon, on Netflix. Straight to digital. Like you can pay $20 to rent it, not to buy it. Some of them you can obviously buy later, but $20 to rent a movie. Do you think this is a viable market strategy for the theaters or for the movie industry going forward?
Not going forward, I do not. But I think at the time being, it's perfect because you can still have movie nights. People are still wanting to consume that source of media, and I really find that beneficial because, as you know, I don't know about you, but I want to be a movie writer and possibly movie director in the future, and you know, it looks grim right now. Who knows what's going to happen? Is everything going to be a shitty B Netflix movie in the future? Is everybody going to be able to get a shitty Netflix deal?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good Band-Aid for the situation right now, but the thing we've run into, which you see now, is like the movies that are out there now have been out there since this started, and there's nothing new coming out because all the studios are pushing the release dates on their movies right now anyway.
And you can't blame them. They can't film right now. All they can do is edit.
No.
Like,
I'm talking about movies that were supposed to come out in March, like Quiet Place 2, the new James Bond movie.
Yeah, I wonder since those movies that in the future were going to be released that aren't filming now, will those movies that were already released on digital be taking the place of their dates? Does that make sense? So say a movie was coming out in December and they haven't even filmed that, but a movie came out on digital that didn't get to go to theater. Does that get to take that December spot even though people have already bought it? Do you think it'll draw enough interest for those people to go back to the theater to see it?
And I think there's going to be movies come out in theaters, like lower budget ones now with the way theaters are. They're going to have to try to make money and they're going to show whatever they can. But I don't know. I personally don't like it as a permanent thing because I like the movie theaters. And I think
did anyone say it was permanent, or are you just
no? But
that's
the question we're looking at here is because, like you said, Universal talked about going straight to digital. And just doing a $20 rental, which honestly might save you money from the theaters because you're not buying popcorn. It's basically $20 for two people to go to the movies right now anyway.
Okay, some people like to go out and drink, pay $40, have a good time. Some people like to go to the casino. I love going to the movies. It's one of my biggest hobbies. I love just being in the theater, you know, with the loudspeakers. You got your popcorn, you got your sippy sip. You're just sitting back, you lay back in that chair, and you're in the environment.
You get lost.
The screen's 8 times bigger than my wall at home.
Well, that and it takes you away from your daily, like, environment. Like, you're always in your house or you're always at your house. So if you watch the movie at your house, it's like you never escape.
Oh, wait. So you're
Movie
saying I'm
theaters-
depressed?
Yeah, I am. Make movie theaters great
Dude,
again.
I guarantee you, if half the shitty, I keep dissing Netflix, but Netflix, if you ever want to make a deal with me, I'm open. I'm not dissing you.
Yeah,
All right, last thing I'll mention about digital streaming movies is there's just such a huge oversaturation that I don't know if anyone else feels kind of like fatigued or almost burnout from like looking for movies
Yes.
sometimes where you just like, you give up. You're like,
dude, it takes us like an hour just to find a movie.
Yeah.
And we're like, God damn, we don't even have time to watch a movie now.
yeah, it's like when you go to a restaurant, like, this is why I like theaters. This is a good analogy. When you go to a restaurant, there's like, what, 20, 30 things, and you're like, I know what I want. At movie theater, there's 10 or 12 selections. You know that you're only going there to see one movie.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix, you can sit down. You can literally spend an hour or two like
Looking
you said,
for a
looking
movie,
or a TV show.
watching the trailers, like trying to figure out if you want to watch it or not, and then it's just like, well, that time is over.
Yeah, and then like when you do start watching it, it's like you're so like, oh, dude, is this good enough? Is this worth my time? I have so many other options. Is this worth my time? And you give up on movies sometimes. We're gonna do a little. We're going to expand a little bit more. We're not just going to do movies here. We're going to do movies, TV, music, maybe even some just regular news. Or
It's gonna be hard for me to do music. I'm not a huge fan of
music?
new age music.
He loves Billie Eilish.
No, that's literally like the example I should use for why music is terrible today. But I won't get into it.
Because you're a bad guy. I think you're really sad type.
No, it's just the best music we'll ever hear has already been made.
Okay, so you're like an
Hands
old
down.
like geezer when it comes to music. Oh, these kids these
Yeah.
days trying to relate to each other. What do they think?
No, I just think that the best music that we'll ever hear has already been made.
Yeah,
Everything
that's
that
what
we hear
every
from now
generation
on
thinks
is-
when they get older because they're not involved with the scene anymore. You're not involved with the scene, man. Get in there, man. Get on YouTube and get in the scene.
Okay,
Get in there, dude.
I'm not gonna get
Jump
there.
in, brother. Okay, he ain't gonna jump in.
We're gonna try to do this more often. I know we have said that before, and then we got hit with a plague, and now we're kind of going back to normal, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
But we still got to be safe out there, especially when you have family members with Lyme's disease that could easily die from this.
Okay, I don't want to really talk about that, but I guess we could talk about Lyme's disease sometime.
Maybe we can get into all kinds of diseases. All right, it was good to see your guys' faces. I mean, I hope I can see your faces one day, but good to get back behind the mic, get back in the studio, and get back on that grind.
And don't forget, one thing to combat COVID, you know what that is?
Drink water.
COVID defeated.
Say what again?